Everybody, John Muller from JP Muller Group, and a question came in from somebody who wanted to kind of sort their project plan by start date so that they would essentially have a task list of things to do. What they tried to do is sort the project plan, and they had some problems. I'm going to show you what happened, discuss it briefly why, and then show you how to achieve the goal. So let's highlight line 5, which is the headings, and we'll go to Data and choose Create Filter, which is what he did. And we get these drop downs on each heading. And he chose Start and then chose A to Z, or chronological order. And you'll notice that under WBS and Progress and Start Date and End Date, there are all these errors that occur. That's because these formulas are very dependent on the cells above and below them to be accurate. Once you sort them, it really confuses the sheet. So let's undo this, and let's also turn off this filter so we're back to normal. And let's talk about how we can achieve the goal. We could achieve the goal by using a very powerful function in Google Sheets called the query function, which allows you to basically treat the data in your spreadsheet as if it were a data in a database. And you could use standard SQL or structured query language, if you know, to basically manipulate the data and present it on a different tab or a different place in your spreadsheet. So we're going to add a new tab. We'll call this Task List. And let's build the formula. Now let's take a look at the project plan for a second. I want to grab data. We'll start from the heading. We'll include the header from row 5. And we'll take it all the way to the end, row 95. Okay, row 5 to 95. And let's first start by just returning column M, the task. Okay, 5 to 95, column M. So let's go back here, and here's the syntax. Equals query, open parentheses, the name of the sheet, which is project plan, exclamation, the row, we'll start at 5, and go all the way down to 95, colon 95. Then we do comma, and the next parameter we're going to send is in double quotes, we're going to put the query. This is very similar to SQL. We'll do select, and we're going to do column, I think we said M, was for the task description. And we're going to close parentheses, and the last parameter we put is of those rows, 5 through 95, how many of the rows represent the heading, and we only have one row that's the heading, so we'll just put 1. We'll hit enter, close parentheses, hit enter, and you'll notice that we now have the description of every task in the plan, or every line in the plan. There's, it's just returning every single one, right, all the way down till there's none left. And I could get fancy, I could format it if I want, etc. All right, so we know the mechanics of the query work. Let's return back all the columns that we need, right, or that we want here. So let's get more columns. So let's say I want H, L, M, N, O, P. Okay, L, M, N, O, P. Okay, H, L, M, N, O, P. So let's go back to our task list here, and we'll edit it, the query, H, comma, L, comma, M, comma, N, comma, O, comma, P. I'll hit enter. And notice what happened. Now we have all that data. But I'm including tasks that are parent tasks, that are hidden rows, that are blank rows. So I want to limit this to only tasks that have dates. So let's go back up to my formula, and we're going to use a where clause. So after the column P, we're going to put space, where, space, and we'll say column O is not null. Okay? And we're going to hit enter. Now look what it did. It now limited the list to only those tasks that have start dates. All right, well, we have one more step. The goal was to actually have it in chronological order. Right now it's returning back in whatever order it appears in the original plan. So let's go back to my formula, and we're going to add another clause in here called the order by clause, and we're going to put column O. However, we have to tell Google Sheets to treat column O, or the start date, as if it were a date. Okay? If you don't do it, the SQL language might think it's a string and then have some problems. So what we're going to do is wrap that in a toDate function, which converts it to a date. And that's all we do. Put column O inside the parentheses of the toDate column, hit enter, and voila. We have all of our tasks that have start dates, all in chronological order, and none of the other noise from the project plan. And notice we have our work breakdown structures, we didn't break it. We have all our end dates, we didn't break it, etc. One last thing I want to show you. Let's go to our plan. Let's insert another task. Let's call it 5. And let's call this a year ago. And we'll put a date from a year ago. We'll just add this task because I want it to show up at the top. All right? And as soon as I go back to my task list here, you'll notice that task now shows up. So this page or this tab becomes dynamic as you modify your plan. So we learned a bunch of things here. We learned the query function. We learned all the clauses that go into the query function, how to use a null comparison, how to convert cells to dates, etc. And I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure you subscribe and keep those questions coming, and I'll keep those videos coming as well. Thanks for joining.